Here we go. Evening all. Hello, hello. Welcome to Monday night's live. We are 8:30 on Monday, the 9th of March. I feel like winter is arrived. We've bypassed autumn and winter is here. Hi to everyone who's joining. Hi Elaine. Hi Colette. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Do let me know where you're joining me from when you join. I'm going to be live this evening for about an hour or so, and I'm going to be sharing a brand new stamp set from the mini catalogue, the September to December mini catalogue. And if you saw my blog yesterday, or if you saw my Facebook or Instagram, you'll know it's going to be really cute. I've got a fresh cup of tea, a clean desk, and a card sketch to start us off with this evening. I will be running this stamp set as a class in October. It's going to be my online coffee and card class, and the premise of that class is you purchase the stamp set and get the 4 kits for free, or you can purchase the kits on their own. And each Tuesday I will share a new video, and that video will talk you through how to put your kit together, and you can create along at home. You can create the cards as I've intended them to be created, or you can add your own touch to it. It's entirely up to you. So booking for that class is open at the moment, and it will close on the 18th of September. And as October has 5 Tuesdays in it, the first video will be published on the second Tuesday, which is the 8th of October. So we've got a little bit of time for that class, and I'm hoping that this video inspires you. The kit part of the class is only available to my followers in the United Kingdom. If you're outside of the UK, you can watch all the videos on my YouTube. They're all public videos, so you can watch along. And if you are in the UK, you can order the kits and the stamp sets. Do have a look at that if you like what we create this evening. So I'll make a little start. Don't really know where this is going to take us to. I've got a little card sketch to kick us off, and I'll share some colouring techniques. As always, if you have any comments or questions, pop them in the comments, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. I'll try and keep track as we go along, and I hope you enjoy. Let's go over to my desk. Okay, brand new clean desk. I would say brand new desk. It's not a brand new desk. So this is the set that I'm going to be demonstrating this evening with you all. It's called Christmas Friends, and it is a photopolymer stamp set. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stamps in the set, and they are outline images. So you have 4 characters to colour, however you wish. You have this little leaf/twig image, and then you've got some sentiments. Now, I'll tell you this funny story. So as I was colouring this little chap over here, I saw penguin, and then I was reading this and thinking, what does that sentiment say? Oh, okay, so that's an owl. It's not a penguin. So owl, be thinking of you this season, not a penguin. Happy holidays. I know, very American, but we see it a little bit over here. Have a very Merry Christmas. So some really nice sentiments in there. Reminder, it's an owl, not a penguin. And I just loved colouring these in yesterday. The stamp set, when they come, you have this little sheet inside, and underneath here are just line drawn images. So they're white. But what I like to do when I get a stamp set like this, just to give me a bit more inspiration, is I stamp them all onto a white card, colour them in, cut them out, and then I just stuck them onto the sheet. And it just gives you a bit, I think it just gives you a bit more inspiration. It makes the stamp set kind of come alive, and it looks really pretty on your shelf as well. So that is Christmas Friends. The card that I shared with you yesterday looks like this. I couldn't help but use every single character. I intended to just pick one, and to be honest, I just couldn't choose. They're all so cute, aren't they? So we've gone with some traditional colouring. I've coloured them in as I have done on my stamp set case. And for these, I've actually used watercolour pencils to colour in these ones. but I've used them as traditional pencils. I haven't used any water at all. And you can see that the vibrancy of that colour, those colours. I really love watercolour pencils. Oh, the sound is breaking up. Okay, that's not good. If anyone else is having any problems, can you pop it in the comments? It might be my internet connection, but I hope it sorts itself out, Elaine. It might be worth sort of coming off and going back in again if it carries on. So I've used colouring pencils for this. I love the depth that you can get in your colouring with these. And I just really like using something different every now and again. And I think I'm going to start with my colouring pencils tonight as well. Now, I have a little card sketch to use this evening as well. So my card sketch, it comes from this week's Global Design Project. Oh, that sounds a bit for you too. That's not fun. I'm just going to mute it and unmute it and see that. Oh, okay. I'm just going to see if I can have a look into this. Bear with me a minute. Okay, it seems to be okay at the moment, but I'm just going to double check and have a little listen, so bear with me. Okay, I've just had a quick look back. Mine seems to be okay, so we'll carry on and hopefully it will sort itself out. I have come off, I had YouTube open at the same time. It might have had a problem, might have been a problem. So we'll see how we get on. So someone's put Facebook sound isn't very good. So someone's gone over to YouTube. Elaine said it sounds better. Okay, let's crack on, shall we? And hopefully all will be good. So I follow each week the Global Design Project. You can find it on Instagram and Facebook. It is a group of demonstrators from across the globe, and they bring you a different challenge each week, and they share all their inspiration of that particular challenge. So this week we have a sketch challenge, and this is what the sketch looks like. Excuse my scruffy drawing, but we have a card base, we have an inner rectangle, and then we have a smaller rectangle. So I'm going to use that as my starting point for my card today. But before we do that, I think I need to do some colouring. So I am going to bring in some white cardstock. Just need a little small piece. That's thick. We don't want thick, we want regular. Oh, it's all go. The dog now wants to come in. Right, I'm just going to cut me half a piece of this to do some colouring with. We let this pooch in. Come on, puppy. Right, now when you are colouring, if you're colouring with blends, so pens that look like this, or if you're colouring with pencils and not using any water, I would recommend stamping with Memento, which is this ink pad here. Right, now you have a toy to play with. Excellent. The sound might not be better. So I'm going to stamp it down. Unnecessary. Excuse the dog in the background. I told him to, he's been really naughty today. I told him he carries on. I'm putting him on the street corner and selling him. I don't think he can last longer than 5 seconds, to be honest. Okay, so I've stamped my little polar bear. The boy has to go. I don't think so. Thank you. Oh dear. Right, so let's stamp each one of these, just stamping really well with a Memento ink pad. If you're tending to use water with your colouring pencils even, make sure that you stamp with Memento. I don't think I really wouldn't last 5 seconds without him. You're absolutely right. But I was ready to pop him out there this afternoon. He was being very naughty. And then the little mouse. I still can't work out which one's my favourite. I think it's either the polar bear or the reindeer. But this little mouse is very nice. And I'm also going to use this little leaf as well. We love a little add-on. Oh, Carol, thank you very much. So for those of you that don't know, yesterday I was very excited to share that I have earned the Stamping Up incentive trip for 2025, which is a trip to Orlando and Disney World in America. So it's something that less than 1% of the demonstrator population earns each year. So there's my little disclaimer. But yes, very excited. And thank you very much, Carol. That's lovely of you to say that. It's been really nice. It's a bit of a dream come true. The girls are super excited. My husband is even more excited. And I think they think they're going tomorrow. Little do they know they've got about an 8-month wait. But it will be worth it. I'm just moving my camera in so we can see my colouring in a bit more detail. Sorry to anyone who now has a headache. Okay, and that is nice and focused. Okay, so I'm going to be colouring in these little images, and these are the watercolour pencils that I'm using. So there are 2 sets of watercolour pencils. They're in the annual catalogue. I'd love to tell you which page they're on, but I still don't know which page is which in the annual catalogue. I can have a little look. If you use the index at the back, tools and storage, water paint. Oh no, water painters they are. Oh, ink and colouring. They're in the ink and colouring section. Watercolour pencils are on page 118. Okay, where are they? Okay, so watercolour pencils are in this little section here on page 118. Okay, so watercolour pencils, assortment number 1, which is this set, it has 13 pencils in. They are £17. And the smaller set, which has 10 pencils in, is £14. I've got both because you know what it's like, you buy one set and the colour you really want is in the other set. Really useful. I've had mine for a while. They last really, really well. And if I'm honest, my daughter who started secondary school this year, she needed watercolour pencils. And I bought these because they're just fab. The depth of colour that you can get, the vibrancy in the colours are just amazing. So, yes, I thoroughly recommend these pencils. Now, I'm going to start. I want some of the neutral tones. So in set number 2, I have Cajun Craze and Crushed Curry. And in set number 1, which is the big set, oh gosh, he's now dragging his bed across the room. I want Pecan Pie. I'm very pleased to see Pecan Pie in there. And I want Early Espresso. Dave, we're going to fall out. Just lay down. Go to bed. This is his way of saying I've not given you enough attention. I also want grey. So I'm going to start with my polar bear. Now, polar bears are obviously white, although they're not white up close. I want to add just a little bit of colour to him. So I'm going to colour just around the edges of him and in where it's going to be darkest, just with a little bit of smoky slate. I always like to start, same as if I'm using blending brushes, blender pens, or blends, should I say. If I'm using blends, I always start with the lightest colour. Okay. I'm just going to give him a little bit of shading. And I find with pencils, The process is a lot slower. So I hope you have a cup of tea or a glass of wine or coffee or hot chocolate, because we're going to be here a little while. Okay. So I've just gone around the edge of my polar bear, and I'm going to use my white. So with the white, I'm just going to blend out those edges. And what I'm doing is I'm just sort of smudging that colour in. When I first saw the white, I thought, what do I want a white pencil for? But honestly, you need it. And it works similar to the colour lifter. It's just smudging everything. If you're using something like a crumb cake card, the white works really, really well. Okay, and then I'm just going to smooth it over with my finger. So you've got a little bit of definition on that polar bear. It's not super bright, but it's bright enough. In my wreath, there are some little baubles. I'm using my real red pencil to just colour in those baubles, and then the bow. Now I always start off by colouring really lightly, and when you're colouring with pencils, pressure means so much. So the more you push, the darker the colour. You also want your pencil to be quite sharp. If it's blunt, you're not going to get a lot of definition. So now I've done that, I'm going to push a little bit firmer. And look, oh good, the nib is broken. Now I'm going to need to find a pencil sharpener. This is always the tricky point. This is where my colouring session might be doing. I've just found my wing Stella. Okay, now the good thing is I have two sets of these. So let's see if that red one in here is sharp. Yes, it is. Note yourself, need to add pencil sharpener to this. I'm just picking my pen. This is the children. I'm not blaming the children, but the children come and say, Mum, I forgot. And I say, oh, yeah, it's in there. And then it's never to be seen again. Right. I'm going to carry on with my red. So you can see already there's starting to be a bit of depth in that colour. Okay. Now I'm going to use my cherry cobbler now. And I want to add a little bit of darker colour. I'm just going over the top. And then if you want to, you can just, if you've got any sections that aren't quite coloured in, just go over. Okay. So next I want garden green, and I'm going to colour in the wreath. Starting with a really soft layer. And at this point, I'm not really worried about how precise my colouring is. That sort of comes in the next couple of layers. So that's my garden green. Dave. We're going to fall out, boy. I'm just lifting that up. So next step, I'm going in with Old Olive, which I'm using as my shading. Okay, so where I think there's going to be a shadow or the colour is going to be a bit darker, I'm adding that in. I also like to go around the edge of my image just to highlight and definition. Once I've done that, I'm picking up the garden green again, and then here I'm applying a little bit more pressure and going over that darker colour to blend it in a bit. He's just wandering around seeing what trouble he can get into now. So that's changed it, hasn't it? That's changed it so much. And then just going over those other sections. So that's my polar bear done. I really like him. Let's just focus that a little bit. So there's not too huge amount of detail, but he's got a little bit more colour than he started with. Right, so now the owl, not a penguin, Stacey, an owl. I'm sure me and Let aren't the only ones. So I'm going to go basic grey because we have snowy owls, don't we? We have snowy grey owls. I'm just giving that a really nice colour. And what I'm doing is I'm not adding much colour in the centre of him. Okay, I'm going around the edge of his face. Oh no, is it windy out there? Have you got like the denim in you? What? Anyone like a dachshund? A very naughty dachshund. Oh, thank you very much. That's really kind of you. I'm very excited. I will share more as I find out more with you all. And a nice little wash of colour on him. And then pressing a bit firmer. I'm going to add a bit more where those shaded areas are. And what I love about these images is there's Stampin' Up do most of the work for you. They add the sort of shading in for you. All I'm doing is I'm just colouring over it and making the most of what's already there. And then going around the face. One thing I'd really like to see in Stampin' Up's Christmas sort of sets is a turkey. I'd like some really funny turkeys. I just think it would be hilarious. Okay, so he's got a bit more depth. Now, there's not enough depth for me, so I'm going to use my black. And black is probably my most used blend because it's just the perfect shade, perfect colour for using to blend. You can see now he's really taking shape. What do we think? I like that. I'm just going to do a little bit under the hat. Perfect. Okay, so that's my little bird. Now we want some yellow for the feet. So I've got Daffodil Delight. Who knows if their feet are yellow, but I'm going with it. A little bit of yellow, and then I'm going to use Cajun Craze. Sorry, not Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry. And what I like about Crushed Curry is it's almost like a golden colour. I'm just using that as my shading pencil. And I'm going back over with Daffodil Delight, but I'm pressing more firmly. Okay. So he's looking good at the moment. Looking good. And then we've got the hat. Obviously the hat. The real red, not the one that's broken. And use a bit of cherry cobbler now to just add in some shading. And I always think about these pencils the same way that I think about blends. So like with blends, you have the light and the dark. I'm using the two different colours, but as my light and dark. So the premise is exactly the same. There we go. So there is my bird slash penguin slash owl slash who knows what it is. Okay, so for my reindeer, love the reindeer. I'm going to use pecan pie. Now, for those of you that know me, know I'm a huge fan of pecan pie as a colour. I use it a hell of a lot, especially at this time of year. And I just love it. It's such a good neutral colour. Just giving him a really nice wash of colour. I'm going to colour his nose as well. Now I'm going to pick up the early espresso one now, and I'm going to repeat my shading. This is my darker tone. So it's building up quite slowly. So he's starting to look like he's got some definition. How are we doing? Are we all still there? You're hanging on in there. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to go back over now with my pecan pie. And you guessed it, I'm going to just press a little bit firmer to just blend that out. Such cute images. They are, Joanna, aren't they? They're just adorable. And you all know how much I love cutesy image. So he's looking good. I'm pleased with him. And up here into the face. There we go. So that's my move started. I'm going to do his antlers in early espresso. I'm not sure if the antlers are lighter or darker than them, but I'm just going with it. Now, when you've got a dark colour like early espresso, this is where black comes in really handy. So I'm going to just start with my black. It just helps to really darken that dark brown. Looking good. Lovely. So now we've got the scarf. So the scarf I'm doing in real red. And of course white stripes, which is uber Christmassy. I'm also going to do socks red. So this is exactly the same way that I coloured the images on the stamp set. So I've got some cherry cobbler now. And then I'm just going to repeat that on the socks. And then last thing we've got with the moose, we have a moose with the reindeer. I've got his skates. So this is Daffodil Delight. Okay, so a little bit Daffodil Delight. And then my darker shade is Crushed Curry. And these colours work really well together. These sort of shades. They're very, I think they're mostly Regals. So there I have my moose. Quick slurp of my tea. And then I've got my little mouse. So in here I've also got Cajun Craze, which is a bit more of an orangey brown. Let's colour the little mouse. And this little mouse, but I don't know if it's his little bell or his little Christmas carol book. It just reminds me of the Christmas story, A Christmas Carol. I'm going to colour his little ear in pink. No, not Melon Mambo. Where's Flirty Flamingo? Here we go. And we do his little face pink. Got his tail pink. And then his ear. And then I'm going to do the same. This time I'm going to use one colour. I'm only going to use Cajun Craze this time. It's quite subtle in colour, the little mouse. I quite like him. And then his little hymn book is going to be yellow, as is his bell. Definition with Crushed Curry. Oh, I've forgotten his little hand or paw. And then last thing, I want a little bow on his bell to be red. And then his little leaves, just going to do garden green. Now, the good news is there are dies to cut this out. The bad news is I didn't buy them. So I'm going to have to cut these out. Should have done it. And here's a set I made earlier. Hopefully these won't take me too long. So let me know what you think in the comments. Looks like the one my cat brought home last night. Oh, if it was cute with a little bell on, I'd have kept it. Now, with these, I'm really glad I found this. This is my Wink of Stella. So if you want to, you can add some definition to your animals with your Wink of Stella. So it acts like a little water painter. Obviously, you need to make sure that your colour doesn't come off on things. If you wanted to add any colours, I'm just going to make his little hat shiny. It's going to act like water, so it will pick up colour. Just make a little bow on Mr. Polar Bear. Shiny. Okay, and then I'm glad there are dies. Yes, my lovely, there are dies. Where's my scissors? Here we go, scissors. So now would be a great time to go and replenish your cup of tea. And hopefully this won't take me too long. I've not coloured in the stem of this here. So let's just get early espresso and just colour in this stem. Bit. Okay. Oops, got a flying owl now. So I'm going to leave a little white border showing around the edge. Quite like his little fuzzy feet. The moose is probably the most complicated. Is he a moose or is he a reindeer? I think he's a moose. Now, once I've cut these out, I will sort my camera back out so that you're a bit further away. I need to cut that a little bit off. One, two. I thought moose too, yeah. The more I look at it, the more I do think moose. Guys would definitely have made this a lot easier. Polar bear. 3 down, 1 to go. Now this little mouse, his tail can be really tricky. Okay, there's my mouse. And then last thing is the leaf or branch. Let's say branch. Okay, so there are all my pieces. Okay, I'm just going to move my huge stack of colouring pencils over there. Right, okay, now let's get on to the nitty gritty of this making a card business. So this here was my card sketch, okay? So I'm going to grab me a card base and I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go, what colour is this? Garden green. Oh, let's sort out my camera. Hold tight a minute, everyone. Hold tight. Okay, you're back out. So I've got garden green as my card base, and I'm going to cut myself. So this is a C6 card. It's going to be a tent fold card base. Okay, so it opens like a tent. Now I'm going to use this embossing folder. I'm obsessed with this embossing folder. It's one of the new ones. I'd love to tell you what it's called. Something plaid, and it's a whopper. It's a really big one. We used it today in copy and card, and it creates, can you see that background? This lovely like plaid sort of background. Really, really nice. So I'm going to use that to emboss my card front. I'm just popping it in my embossing folder like that, and I'm going to run that through my machine. Let's bring that back in. We might only get one card tonight, guys, because it's already 9:15. So now you need to work out which side that's your front. Isn't that lovely? Really, really love this colour. But that's not dark enough for me. So I'm going to use a blending brush to just go around it. So I'm going to use a darker shade. I'm going to use Shaded Spruce. Shaded Spruce is a great Christmas colour. And this should work really nicely against the garden green. It does. So just making that card base a little bit darker. And I'm just going to go around the edge. We're not going to worry too much about the inner part because we're going to cover that up in a minute. Now you might think, why didn't I just use, say, Shaded Spruce card? And I could have done, but I love the effect of ink blending. Okay, so there's my blended background. Now I want a layer of red. Let's do it. Or do we do a layer of garden green? I'm really loving at the moment doing the same colour card. Let's do this. Let's go ultimate Christmas colours, shall we? So this little layer here, what should we measure that to? Let's go. 9 by 8, what do you reckon? Little measure. If we did 8, that's going to come out over here. And if we did 9, yeah, 9 by 8, let's do that. And I just want 8 by 8. 9 by 9, yeah, water wally. So this is going to get stuck down on there. Oh, I love it. I feel like it needs a bit of white or something to break it up. So let's go. How wide is this? Let's do 10 by 9. And what I want to do is I want to put this on at an angle. That's better, isn't it? That's broken that up quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this one down like that. So that one's going on at a slight angle. And then I want to trim that off. And let's just use my scissors. Oops. And then this is going to go on like so. So it's a nice little layer there. So the back one was 10 by 9 and this front one is 9 by 8. I'm going to raise this, I think. And I'm getting more brave with colour. It's taken me a while, but I am getting there. Stick a huge pad on, shall we? That's going to go out there. Now, which character do we use? I do really like the moose. I feel like the moose fits well on there. I also really like my polar bear. I think it's got to be the moose. Should we just do one? What do you think? I think we just do one, you know. And then my banner needs to go across there. So let's do a banner. How wide can I get? Let's do 1.5 centimeters. Actually, I've got a strip up here that is just in my offcut box. This is where I'm so tempted to use more than one. I feel like they go really nicely together. What do you think? I'm just going to do a doodle because if in doubt, do a doodle. So I'm going to just doodle around the edge of here. And I started following someone new yesterday on Facebook and they just did like a little squiggle on their doodles. And I loved it. So look, I've just done a little squiggle in my doodle. Come on, focus. It's not going to want to focus now. There we are, it's focused. It's just a little doodle in there. Okay, so someone's put just the, my mum's put just the moose, but I like both. Really sorry, Mum, I might have to go against you. I like the moose and the mouse. The moose and the other side, like they're talking to each other. Oh, that's cute. That strip's really bugging me. So we could put them there like that. Yeah, that's cute, isn't it? Definitely both. Sorry, Mum, you've been outvoted. I'm just found another little mouse, look. Anyway, we digress. Back to it, Stacey. Let's use some pads to stick on the moose and the mouse. Oh, that's a mouthful. I swear there's a children's book somewhere called something like The Moose and the Mouse. It sounds very apt. It sounds very children-like. So we're going to put my little moose there. I've moved him down a little bit. And then we put the mouse there. And then I've got room for my little strip. Okay. And then where did my leafy bit go? On the floor. Of course it's on the floor. Oh, of course it's on the floor. Now this is probably going to end up looking like mistletoe. I don't want it to end up like mistletoe. Like that. Got me a little bow. I've got a bow. Here's a bow I tied earlier. Now this is some sort of twine. It's like gold metallic twine. Oh, you lost me on Facebook. Oh no. I really like this twine stuff. I'm going to just tie a little bow. Like so. I want a little glue dot. Glue dots are your best friend when you're using twine. I'm going to put this up here. And then we want a teeny tiny little sentiment. Now I've lost my stamp set. Now what sentiments have I got in here? I've got happy holidays. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to use it. Let's just do it, Stace, shall we? The card has taken me nearly an hour to make. Can you believe that? Let's do 1.2. And I'm going to stamp in shaded spruce. Happy holidays. Actually, this isn't tall enough. Oh, no, it's not bad actually. Happy holidays. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to double that up actually, because I've got two dimensionals there. So let's double it up. There we go. So that's my card front. An hour to make this card. An hour. But I think it's worth it. There's quite a bit going on. And then in the centre, I need to put a layer of white. My desk is like a crazy zone. I'm going to do 9 by 13.4. And this piece, how wide did I cut this? Well, that was 9 as well. Let's do 9 by 13. 13.4. Let's do 13.9. I'm going to just take this down to 8.5. It's gorgeous, worth an hour. Oh, I'm glad, ladies and gents. I'm very glad. Let's put this in here. I'm going to put that in at an angle. All about the angles tonight. And that one's going in there at an angle. And what were my other sentiments? Do you remember? Have a very Merry Christmas, and owl will be thinking of you this Christmas. Well, I can't use that because there's no owl. So it's just going to have to stay like this. So a little squiggle down my lines. There we go. So there we have it. That is, that needs to be cut down. That is my Christmas card. I feel like it needs some gems. So let's see what I've got. I don't want cork round. Don't want them. I want some Christmassy ones. Oh, there's some nice green ones in here. These are Tinsel Gems 4-pack. I've got a feeling these were from last year's catalogue. But I'm sorry, a gem is a gem is a gem. Let's just put a couple of these on. And I have an owl and a polar bear left to do something with. So my challenge is to do something with that. Those two, which I will probably do tomorrow. So that's my Christmas card all finished. I have used the Christmas Friends stamp set, like so. This is the class that I'll be running in October. If you're interested in taking part, you can find the class on my website, which is staceymarsh.co.uk. Do get in touch if you'd like to register or if you have any questions. All these products can be purchased from my online store, also at staceymarsh.co.uk. As always, if you are wanting to make a purchase online, when you enter this month's shopping code, you will receive a free gift in the post from me in October. If you spend over £45, you will receive a free kit for my September card class, which is featured around the reindeer days sweets, which I showcased last Monday during last week's live. So do have a look at that as well. And I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. I'll be live again next Monday from 8:30. And I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but I do hope you will join me. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week. Bye for now.